Oh, folks, it's a beautiful day here in Texas, and we are shooting an amazing gun. This is the CZ Shadow 2 Compact. Check it out. Before we jump into the rest of this, I want to remind you one more time, please hit the like and subscribe button. Do us a favor. Let YouTube know that you dig our content. In exchange, we'll provide you with a cringy gun meme. Might be located right here. Who would have guessed that was in there? So just as an overview, the CZ Shadow 2 Compact relies heavily on the accomplishments of the original CZ Shadow 2, which is a fine firearm we've reviewed previously. Much more condensed in size, but the ergonomics are still really good. It's a 15+1 capacity hammer-fired firearm with double action, single action trigger capacity. A really low bore axis and some good ergonomics that make it a fine shooter. We're going to talk about those ergonomics coming up next. All right, so for ergonomics, one of the things that make this gun so successful is the grip angle, man. It's 1911-esque, but you've also got checkering on the back strap here and also on the front strap. This little curve at the bottom before you get to the mag well really helps lock the gun into your hand. Also in conjunction with the beaver tail. Now I love a good beaver tail because I've got big hands and I don't want slide bite. But also you've got these grip panels and they are great as far as grabbing the flesh on your palm. It makes it really hook up and connect with your hands. Then of course on the other side, as far as controls go, you've got safety or fire selector on both sides, so it's accessible for lefties there too. Your mag release is pretty easy to get to. It sticks out quite a bit, but not so much as to be obtrusive. Your slide stop and slide release are on the left side only. On this very low height slide, serrations on the rear and the front, some dimpling on the front of the trigger guard here, and then of course a place to mount up any kind of accessory that you like. And for sights on this gun, we've got an adjustable rear and fiber optic red in the front. All right, so obviously this is an optics capable firearm, but we wanted to try and go back to irons and appreciate the irons occasionally. We think that's a good idea. There's also some argument to carrying a slick top gun when you're concealed carrying. When you have that flat surface tucked into your belt somewhere, you're inevitably going to collect wonderful things in there. Plus there's a consideration of drawing. Some people like the traditional slick top firearm and iron sights. Let's test this out. We're at 7 yards. We're going to shoot some 3-shot groups and just see how it performs. Now obviously this is a double action, single action trigger. I'm going to stick with the single action so that I don't embarrass myself today. Ah. Man, okay, I'm gonna do one more. Okay, let's go check those out. So, first group, I put 2 in the same hole and then dropped one a little bit. I've got to admit that it is a challenge going back to irons because I've gotten so used to running a red dot. Here I'm seeing that with a straight dead-on hold, I'm putting that front sight right here and it's hitting just a little bit below that. And then of course these two, you know, it's still a little over an inch there. Kind of the same repeated up here. And then the last group, we're on about the same horizontal, but spread out just a little bit over an inch. So it's certainly accurate enough, and I've got to allow that my lack of use of iron sights is going to contribute to some of this accuracy, but definitely a good accurate gun for concealed carry. All right, so we always like to test defensive firearms with defensive ammo. So we've got some Nosler here, and we're going to load it up and just see how it cycles in the Shadow 2 Compact. Oh. Oh. That's not a good sign. Let's try that again. Okay, that might have been me. I am working with gloves today, so that's one issue that I've got to confront. Let's try from the beginning. Okay, cycled fine. Let's get used to irons again, shall we? All right, I think we're in good shape, but we'll run another mag through just to make sure. Okay, so we're gonna run another mag through. I've got the Nosler defensive ammo. There we go, no problems whatsoever. So I'm very confident that that was my glove on the first hang up there. We'll continue testing this as we go throughout the day and just make sure that that was the issue. It's feeding fine on everything else that we're doing. And has no problem with cycling the ammo, so feel good about that. Ooh, there we go. Eric can shoot, y'all. All right, let's talk about the trigger on this CZ Shadow 2 Compact. Now you got a nice, gently curved steel shoe there. And we're gonna demonstrate the double action first. So I'm going to very carefully drop that hammer. And we're gonna see this incredibly long pull. I say that it's incredibly long. I'm teasing a little bit. Anything that's double action to me feels like it's just incredibly long, but here we go. So right there, pretty good amount of travel before we really get any resistance. And then now we'll just pull through. Okay, pretty good long pull, but it's smooth. And then reset is right there. So now we're in single action and the trigger stops. Like once you get to reset, it absolutely stops right there. There's no additional travel forward. And now we'll get back into try the brake on the single action. So a little bit of travel right there and then it hits a wall and then brakes and reset really solid again. Very audible, very tactile. It's a good trigger. We're at 50 yards here, just gonna try to work some steel. Now, I'm not sure who's responsible for making sure that the targets get painted. It's me, actually. But there's not very good contrast on that big steel torso plate, so let's try from 50 yards and just see what we come up with. I think that's okay. I'm gonna push my luck, shall we? Let's go out a little further. Right. Finally. Hey folks, we're gonna get to our final thoughts, but before we do, I want to remind you one more time, please hit that like and subscribe button down below. Let YouTube know that you dig our content. Okay, so final thoughts on the CZ Shadow 2 Compact. I like the weight of this gun compared to like a lot of striker fired or polymer guns. This is much heavier. Because it's shorter, it does have a little more snap to it, but that weight and the low bore axis helps tame that recoil. Once you grip it well, which it's fully capable of doing with this super grippy texture, you can lock it down and get good follow-up shots. The trigger is outstanding. I really appreciate, even though it's a double action, single action, which isn't my preference, the trigger is really nice on this gun. It's accurate. We were able to push out to distance and still hit targets pretty fairly accurately. And I wish I could have done a little better job with the up close accuracy testing, but that's on me because I'm also switching back to irons, which I thought was kind of fun. This weapon is fully capable of running a red dot, and you may choose to go that route, but the sights on here are really nice. The fiber optic red up front blends well with the bladed rear that's serrated for anti-glare in the back. And the controls are really good. Some feedback that I would offer is this safety is a little bit difficult to hit. If I'm gripping the gun like I'm going to shoot and try to get it down, it's a little tougher to manipulate. So I kind of have to cheat a little and break that thumb over to pull that safety down. It's just very thin, as you can see. It's right up close to the slide, and I suspect that probably was designed that way because of concealed carry. The purpose of this gun is a concealed carry firearm, so they didn't want to have a lot of things big and bulky hanging off of it, especially if that's up against your skin or touching on a holster. The slide release, very easy to hit. It's got a nice stair-stepped shelf there, and that's pretty easy to reach. But there were times where I had to think about my manual of arms. Would it be easier for me to hit with the left or move my thumb around and then reestablish my grip with the right? You know, ultimately, if this were a firearm that I purchased, I would have to confront those issues and figure out the best way to do it. But very solid firearm. Now, the outside of that, it's $1,200. That's what I'm seeing online right now. This is a very nice firearm, and it's going to be a little on the expensive side because of that. Again, accuracy, ergonomics are great. It shoots really well. The other thing is reliability. We had 2 issues that occurred during our 500 rounds, and I could not get them to repeat, and it was while I was wearing gloves both times. One issue was failing to go all the way back into the battery, and then one was a feeding issue when we had switched to defensive ammo. But we ran through both of those scenarios again without any gloves on, and didn't have any problems whatsoever. So again, a really good firearm on the expensive side, but absolutely good quality. So we want to thank you for watching, and we appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next one.